Absolutely. I mean, especially in the projects in Coronado. I mean, the real estate is already expensive in Coronado. I mean, like I said, that one, it was 40 by 50 lot with, 1.26 million with a house on it that the clients are like, yeah, we could never live here,
Right.
even though, I mean, I could have lived there, but it's like they didn't want to live there. So, redoing that and really kind of showing that within, from, 2017 to, you know, what, 8 years later, right? The return on is about 2 million.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Podcast. I'm your host, Micah Johnson. And today I'm joined by Michele, who's been making some serious moves in the architecture space for quite some time now. Michele, welcome in. I'm glad to have you.
Hi, Micah. Thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely. I'm excited for our conversation today. This is one, I haven't had it before. And two, it's a section of the business I find super interesting when it's in the design phase and how important it is and what it can actually do for an investment and a deal that you're doing. So I'm pumped to dig in here. So for folks who may not know you yet, tell us a little more about yourself and what your main focus is right now.
My name is Michele Grace Hottel of Michele Grace Hottel Architect. I started my practice in 94 when I gave birth to my daughter and became licensed. So, so
Gotcha.
it was kind of like transitioning into working on my own. I'd been working for an architect since 1983, and I'd gone to architecture school and, you know, was ready to start my own practice and do my own work. So it was kind of like the perfect time to do it. And so I've been working on custom residential, small commercial, preschools, some church work. Um, and I'm looking to do design build now.
Love that. Okay, so why architecture? What you've been doing it for a long time. And I know this. People don't do stuff for a super long time that they don't enjoy doing. We'll typically eliminate those activities. So what is it? What got you into it and kept you around all this time?
I don't, I've always drawn and painted and I kind of like, um, people would recognize, and kind of say like, "Oh, look, isn't that nice?" Or, "Oh, she's drawing," or something. And then in the 8th grade, we had to pick an occupation, career in health class, and why health class, I don't know, but anyway, in in health class. And so, back then it wasn't software on a computer, it was like a little box. And so I'd always wanted to be an artist, but I didn't think that I'd be able to make enough money doing that. And so I always enjoyed architecture, or always enjoyed buildings. And So I decided, oh, like, one of the cards is architecture, and I'm like, okay, I'll do that. And my math wasn't great, so I said, like, okay, I'll be a drafter if I can't make it through architecture school. And so and I took a drafting class in 10th grade, and then I
Okay.
went to, it was a technical school. There was, like, half a day I would go to regular high school, and then half a day I would go to technical school, and then I also drafted there. And then when I graduated high school, my mom and my stepdad had moved to the West Coast, so I moved back out there with them, and I went to architecture school in California, and I've been living here the whole time,
Love that.
in spite of I did spend a year in Denmark during my,
Okay.
uh during my architecture school. So
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
It's a good time too. That
yeah,
it's
very nice.
I don't hear a lot of someone finding someone in 8th grade and it like working out like that, where it just kind of leads into it. I love that. I'm thinking about my daughter. She's very artistic. And it's like, okay, I may need to create a architecture index card and have her draw it. Honey, we're in health class now. And I need you to pick an occupation. And all these cards are blank except one.
And you know what, Micah? She'll probably be like, "Dad, I can just look on my phone and do that.
Right.
I can
Right.
find it right
Yeah.
here. Everything I need to know about architecture is right here." It's
Yeah. Yeah. She's 12. She definitely thinks she knows it all for sure.
yeah.
Um, Well, okay. So you've been here, you've done a lot of architecture through, or you have a lot of architecture experience. You've owned your own practice for a long time. Now you're getting where do you want to design and build. Now, I was surprised backstage beforehand to find out that some architects do this, but not everybody does it, which was fascinating to me. And what's led you to this? What's got you to the point now where you're like, all right, I want to design it and bring it up from the ground?
Probably 20 years now, I think. The last 20 years. But recently I did, I've just been talking to other architects about it. And, it's like kind of the time is right now. And so one of the architects as developer here in town is Jonathan Siegel. And he does, he's like been doing this work for himself for at least probably 30 years now. And I did a podcast interview with him, and I kind of, and he said, yeah, he goes, first, just, he's like, you've already um you've already designed things, you've already, done work for other, for your clients, you have your own practice, he goes, do your own house, and I said, well, yeah, I added on to my own house, and so, and kind of, experienced that. And then, now I'm ready to go on. And I've done a couple spec homes. I did a couple spec homes for a contractor, you know, but then true, also with a contractor, you're dealing with somebody else's budget, and so when that, when you're creating that, when you're going through that budget, a lot of times the contract, well, let's cut back here, let's cut back there. And it's not like it doesn't happen. I mean, I know that I had to cut back on, on with things for the budget on my own addition, plus it was, we were building it during COVID. So that was that was really challenging as far as like trying, because we had to get it done by June 1st of 2020 because um we had somebody that needed to move into the addition for a medical condition. And so, we had to make it an accessible addition on the house because, the rest of the house was not accessible. And so this addition was accessible. And so we built on the back and then broke through. Um,
Gotcha.
yeah.
Well, it makes sense to do your own house first, because then you really experience like what it's like. Like you're living it out. You're waking up, drinking your coffee next to the job site and like seeing, okay, this is what translates from paper to product. Okay, now I get to see that. Heck yeah, that should give you confidence to lead to the next step. So what's got you excited this year? What's going on now that's leading to bringing something up from the earth?
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
I have 4 houses that I've been working on for a while, and those we're about to get the permit on those. So those are going to go under construction pretty soon. And there are 4 houses on a lot split. Um, and I'm the architect on that. I have an existing old house that we're adding on to in the back. I've got a project in the beach area that is going to be it's going to be interesting. It's a pretty interesting client. We have an interesting addition and remodel for that, like big open spaces. So the existing house is kind of a traditional house, and then on the I'm adding a roof deck on the front of the house that kind of goes up, so it's kind of this modern block that's going up in the front, and then we have this modern block that's going up in the back, and then we raised the back addition so that he gets this great view of the ocean. It's kind of like this big framed window that's actually a pivot door, and so it's this huge pivot door, and then kind of the deck that's
Well, yeah,
going
that's
out.
gonna be
Yeah.
cool. That's gonna
Yes.
be really cool. Michelle,
Yeah,
I'm gonna need
yeah.
you to send me a picture of that when you're
Okay, I
done.
will. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, we're getting, I mean, sometimes you just never know because uh this client was thinking, well, maybe I won't build it. Maybe I'll just sell it with the plans. And I'm like, oh, I don't know whether that's gonna go too well. But so anyway, last week the contractor's like, oh yeah, he wants to start building next week. And I'm like, okay, because we have the permit for it. I'm like, why are yeah. So he leaves to go out of town, and we're supposed to just like move forward with this. So it's interesting. Some
It'll be a
changes.
fun one.
Yeah, yeah, some changes. Yeah.
Well, and it's all good practice for what you're getting ready to do when you do it for yourself. It's because it's not that you're just the customer and the architect now. You get to experience everything that they experience all the way through, each section, which is you're doing it the right way. Because you can jump into a project and things cannot go right quick, but when you learn it those step by steps, you're setting yourself up for some success. Now, what excites you most about getting to design your own stuff, getting to do it from beginning to end?
A lot of addition remodels, so it's like kind of you already, I mean, it's a good there, it's a real, it takes, um, it's a real skill to do an addition remodel because, some people want to match the existing house. Some people want to have something that's totally different from the thing. Sometimes we're totally recreating the house like this in the 911 9th Street project in Coronado, where it was an existing traditional house, but it had really been redone, not very nicely over the years. And so we took everything downstairs, and now it's this modern project. And people were kind of like, what? That's an addition remodel? I thought it was kind of from scratch, right? And I said, no, we just totally redesigned the whole thing and to stay within the existing, setbacks on the site so we could get more square footage, because we could only increase the square footage by a little bit. But one of the things that you can do with a new build is that you can kind of create with the site, so I've been looking at sites, and and then being able to, conceptually design, kind of like looking at the elements of the site, the topography, where the sun is on the site, any, site features, and then really designing around those site features to really be more of a conceptually designed house and not, like a lot of tract houses, it's the same floor plan in a development. And so, it's regardless of where the sun is or what topography, usually they like flatten out the site and things like that. So really, I think that kind of the unique, um, some of the unique aspects of having an architect design your house is they can kind of design around the site. And then also, if you're not leveling out the site and doing all of this, earth moving and things, you could then cut down on the costs of doing that and then kind of building, and then that floor plan and, and elevations and sections will all work within that topography and those site features.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
I think the value is not everybody can see it. Like I can't see things like some folks can walk in somewhere and see something that's not there. I'm not the best at that inside homes. And to have that, to know it's not my skill, right? Like to lean on someone that it is their skill to say, hey,
Mhm.
and then even if it is your skill to talk to someone, it's their professional skill of saying, look, this is what you can really do. Cause you're right. It's one of those things where you know how much money you're saving, but you don't know what it's costing you kind of issue where,
Exactly.
I mean,
Exactly. Yeah.
how much have you seen that projects you've worked on as an architect actually end up being more valuable because you worked on them?
Absolutely. I mean, especially in the projects in Coronado. I mean, the real estate is already expensive in Coronado. I mean, like I said, that one, it was 40 by 50 lot with, 1.26 million with a house on it that the clients are like, yeah, we could never live here, even though, I mean, I could have lived there, but it's like they didn't want to live there. So, redoing that and really kind of showing that within, from, 2017 to, you know, what, 8 years later, right? The return on is about 2 million.
Wow. That's
Yeah. Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
significant in a short period of
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, and I mean, it's one of those things where like people be like, "Oh, is that, oh, I didn't realize that you had done that house," right? Because we don't have anything, a lot of architects, I mean, and I think all architects should Frank Lloyd Wright did it, Jonathan Siegel will do it. He'll put like his name on the building, and it's like, yeah, I would love to be able to put my name on it so that people, oh yeah, I mean, just something small, I mean, Frank Lloyd Wright used to do a little tile, but then people would know like, okay, that's one of his buildings. And so, I mean, that's advertisement for um, your livelihood, So
Now, do
it's
you
it's
have
always
one? What's your mark?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
All right. You gotta well, you're an architect, so I trust that you're gonna be able to build one because
I know.
heck
Probably
yeah, that's
stainless
so
steel.
cool.
I'm thinking stainless steel. Stainless steel probably, with
Okay.
with my
That's so
logo, with my
cool.
logo in it or my name. Yeah.
Right, like you leave a little secret behind, like, "Oh, and if you know, you know." Nice, that's
Yeah.
cool, I love that, I love that idea
Yeah.
because it's like we were talking about earlier, I mean, you bring that thing comes out of your mind onto paper or a screen now, obviously, probably printed later, obviously, but it's from a concept to paper to existence, like, that has got to be a fulfilling experience, and I would feel kinda cut off if I didn't get to see the ending.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's funny. One of my contractors, he's like, "Oh, you're the only architect that I've ever worked with that like comes to the job site." And I'm like, "What?" And I'm like, "I thought everybody went to the job site." I mean, that's kind of the way that I was trained because then, there's a lot of things, especially in addition remodels, with existing buildings, there's like a lot of, you'll open up a wall and And it's like, what? Like this wasn't, was never framed correctly, and then we have to like sit the second story on top of it. So we have to redo things. So, it's like I'd rather be the person that's there to say, okay, if we have to change the plans, like I would like to change the plans and not have, somebody that, isn't trained in design, to kind of just like wing it in the field. And
Well, that definitely makes your value right there even higher because one, it shows you actually care about the project. Like the heart of it explains why you've done it for so long. You actually care about what you're doing. And then you care about the excellence of it, right? You got to inspect what you expect every time. Like if you don't, it just won't be like you want it to do. And you've got 30 plus years of knowledge and expertise going into a design that you don't want a guy that's been doing construction for 3 years being like, well, we're just going to put that over here.
well, another thing is that the contractors, they typically don't want to work with the homeowner. They don't, it's like they'll kind of, some of them be like, yeah, but I mean, the less that they have to try to figure out, I mean, they don't care about the color of the, it's like, it's just like, what do you want? Like, what color do you want?
Right.
And even with the color, I mean, people will say like, oh, what color? I've had friends like, oh, what color should we paint our house? I'm like, well, you have to put, look at the different paint colors that you have in mind, and then buy a sample and put a huge, swath up on different sides of your house, because the light's going to be different. It's going to change, over the course of the day. It's like, it's not just a little paint chip that you're going to be able to like see what it, and it's always, typically in California, it's always going to be lighter on the wall than it appears on the chip, so people will pick out something that they think is a gray, and I look and I'm like, it's going to be white. It's going to be white in the sun. They'll paint the whole house. One of my friends that they painted the whole house, and then they're like, yeah, we should have gone with a darker color. It looks white. And I'm like, well, I told you. Yeah,
I don't know if you remember this conversation we were having a while back where I specifically think I said it's going to be white. Yeah. So
yeah.
that's funny. You didn't, it's not your first size. Funny folks will listen and then be like, I think I know better. Somebody's been doing this for 30 years.
Well, I mean, I also say, it's like people come in and then they're like, oh, it's like, well, I want to do it this way. I mean, I had one of the projects in Coronado. I had an owner's rep, and I mean, she was young, but she had like done some flips before, and she was a realtor, and this was for a client. But, she's kind of like, "Oh, yeah," and so she went with these different tiles, like kind of a neutral palette, but it was like so neutral, it was kind of, more bland, and it was gonna be this high-end rental, but at the end of the process, she was like, everything," she said, "Well, everything that you told me to do that I didn't do, I should have done," and I was like, "Okay, just as long as you realize it." You know?
Because I'm not making it up. These aren't
Yeah,
just
you're not
like,
making it up.
yes, they're
Yeah.
suggestions, but they're suggestions based on massive amounts of data. Okay. So
Yes.
it's not just, I'm not just winging it. Well, I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So one of my favorite things when I'm talking to people and work with people is first, they actually care about what they're doing. That's it. That's one of my big requirements. So I appreciate it is that you actually care. Then you're an expert at what you do. You're in the field. You're making sure you're seeing what's going on and able to help with changes and bring it to completion, which is the goal the whole time, not to get stuck in the process. So you're helping people get all the way through. For folks that are listening in that would possibly want to work with you, learn more about you, what's the best way for them to find you?
You can go on my website. That's www.mgharchitect.com, and you can contact me on there, fill out the form, send it, right there. I'll respond to you within 24 hours.
Thank you for sharing.
Personally.
There you
Yeah.
go. See that extra touch of service. I'm telling you, I say it all the
Yeah.
time. We bring professionals on this show for a reason. Reach out to them if what they're doing is something you need, because that's the point of this it's real estate's a team sport. You need folks in your tool belt. If you need an architect, check the show notes, reach out to Michele, work with a professional. Again, thanks for sharing that. Thanks for being here. I loved our conversation and our time together. For those that are listening or watching out there, if you got value out of today's episode, please like it, share it with someone else you think could use it too. And as always, please don't forget to subscribe to our podcast. We appreciate every single one of you that follows along with us out there. We've got more conversations coming up with operators just like Michele out there building a real business in the industry. Thanks for being with us. We'll see you on the next episode.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.